more people might join in as we go. That's the way it is. Let's see. Put this up. Okay, I'm sharing my screen, my second account. Let's see. Are we live, user? Are we recording? Yes. Okay. All right. Hey, guys. I'm Angelo Antone. This is our Swing Trade Monday sessions. We do this every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is strictly over options and shares, and we're swing trading them. So day over day or longer, week over week, or even longer than that sometimes. And I'll be going over the fractal system today. And our goal today is to work as a team and find out what we can trade, what looks obvious to take a trade on as a group, and then go from there. So I have a AES is my first ticker I'm sharing today that I want to go over. We talked about this one before in the prior Sunday sessions. It's a utility company. I saw a couple interesting things about this one. I think it's on the wave 10 or 20. Okay, here's a wave 20. We do 1,000 days of load. Okay. So price has to find out if it wants to gain some strength here and then break above this blue area. And there's some open states there that it can target. And if it does not find some strength, it's going to follow that blue line lower, that average blue line. Let's see, let's go to the 10. Okay, the 10 looks better actually. I think it was the 10 that I saw earlier. So we're at H move brings us right up to here to 17.14 open state. So that's the target. We have a K assigned recently. That's green standard deviation. Let's see. Let's go to wave 30. Let's see, someone's echoing. Second. 1 second. All right, I think we're good now. All right. So wave 30, K assignment with green leaving the golden zone, and the average move brings us up here to 16.40. So the bullishness is just starting with this name. It appears those up today, a couple percent. You can see down here, still in the golden zone, pretty low. And the K is just getting started. Go through wave 50. Same thing, deep in the golden zone, green standard deviation showing. And we're looking to continue making new highs above pivot. We go further out to wave 100. We got two open states there, 15.51, 15.78. And this company is very cheap valuation wise. It's like 8 times earnings. And they have more sales than their current market cap. So pretty undervalued if you ask me. And we know in the physical world, the story behind these utility stocks is our power grid's obviously weak. It needs to be upgraded. And as volatile weather comes in, it makes the power grid worse, weaker. So there's lots of investment needed in this space. And then this is the name that could definitely benefit from that, for more investment in our infrastructure regarding the power grids. And then 200, same thing. We got some open states there, 15, 15 and a half. I don't think there was too much more than this one besides that. Look at the options analyzer for this, wave 10. So we're at H3, the DTL bit. Yeah, I can do that. More than 1,000 days, Lem. Let's see, I can put 2,000. Gotcha. Not many occurrences of H4 compared to L1. That's what that shows. And L1 as in low but below pivot. Let me turn these imprint bands off real quick. AVP, welcome in. Thanks for joining.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, hey,
I'm good.
we're just starting. And this is recorded, but you can speak up as long as you want. And that regards to anyone too. I'm just getting started with AES utility stock. This company, as I said, is pretty cheap valuation wise. It's eight times earnings, has more sales than market cap, and we're seeing potential more upside in this name. Okay. There's a 2000 days LEM. Put percent bands on. So it's right here at the 80% band. We know it can take off and perform that average move. And we got open state there. Or make an L1 and come down to that 80% band. One of those scenarios will happen in the near future. And that's about it for AES. There's a couple other good ones I want to go over. KMI is one we talked about. Kinder Morgan. Make money off natural gas. It's a natural gas stock. Wave 7's kind of overextended. You can see the standard deviations at extreme. We had an outlier above this blue area. If you're new, anytime price gets above this blue area, either above pivot or below pivot, it's an outlier. That's usually where we see explosive moves. Like here, it broke above the blue area and then made a huge explosive move way up here. Same with this here, and then a couple more times. And now here, we're experiencing that again. Even though it seems overextended on the wave 7, the wave 3, I'm gonna look at the bigger picture, the higher time frames. And I'm pretty sure this name is just getting started in terms of expanding higher. So you got some open states there, 30 and a half, 31.70. Price is at 30. Yeah, you guys can type in questions in the chat if there's any. Go to wave 50. You can see that green standard deviation is just taken off in golden zone. We already performed the average move. And price has to figure out if it'll go sideways and then lower and follow that blue line, or there's open state way up there I can target, but lots of empty space here. Let's keep looking. The higher time frames. 60 showing the same thing, 70. These all show the K assignment just got started. K meaning expansion phase, M meaning compression. Right now we're expanding higher. So we're in a bullish breakout mode, day over day. Wave 100, similar story. It's another open state way up there at 50. Yeah, same. There's a lot of repeating open states, and 50 being the one that's repeating the most, which would be a huge run. And we have this K assignment that was just signed recently, about 5 days ago. The green line, the golden zone. So this looks good to stay long. This is a stock you can stay long with shares, or if you want to get crafty, do some kind of option strategy further out. That's possible too. But this is something I wanted to share because it's natural gas based. And natural gas, the price of natural gas for the future is up about 60 or 70% the past week or so. So we already know the earnings are being a lot higher going forward with these type of stocks. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. So that's KMI. KSS is Kohl's stock. It was interesting compression expansion step with this one I wanted to share. Let me find it. This stock in the linear chart has been down for a while. Okay, I think it's might be 50. Yeah. So we see this. Okay. Let me zoom in on this real quick. So price shot up from, I think it was earnings or whatever, then closes open state. And then right after that closed open state, it immediately started going down. And what I see right here, just first glance at this candle structure is compression. Compression. We've been compressing for quite a bit, week over week. And anytime we compress like this, we always see some kind of expansion. So we can expand much higher like that, or we'll expand much lower down here like that. Put these arrows on. And then this is my trading strategy. If you don't know already, I look for compression and expansion. So this is compression because we started way up here, then we start kind of like staircasing down is how I view it as a compression. That's basically what it is here. Pretty uniform with that straight line I drew. And at some point we have expansion, and it's either way. A lot of times we have this, and usually it's higher, but that's not always the case. So we're going to see some expansion here on this name. And I'd like to figure out when it could stop compressing and then where it could expand to. That's the goal with this one. This might be the same picture in the, yeah, wave 40, wave 20, a little different. Let's go to, okay, wave 100. We're under the purple vector, but the vector is staying sideways, which can suggest that price can go back up and hit that purple vector. And then from there it can go higher or immediately lower. Let me put this right here. So again, we'll have to find where price could stop and find a bottom, find some support. That'd be the goal for that. I'm seeing wherever price stops and finds support, it can immediately target these two open states after it finds support. So we got 25.22, 28, or it could go lower to the 80% band, 50% band. Let's go to higher time frame. Okay. See, price is above this purple vector. 16.41 is the vector. A lot of times when you see this, the price is not going to go up until it comes down, hits that purple vector for support. And you'll see like a day where it wicks down to vector briefly and then heads way higher. That'd be a good sign for expansion going higher. That gives us a clue that the expansion direction could be higher. And that's kind of what I'm thinking for this one. Price will continue to go lower. It'll meet that purple vector and then go back up for support. Or go back up to those target open states, but come down for support to that purple vector is what I'm expecting. Let's move this real quick. I'll take a picture of this. This. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking there. Price will continue to press lower till it meets that 16.41. And then what to look for clues if price uses that purple vector support or if it breaks through. If it breaks through and continues to be weak, that's not a good sign. We can see price go down to the 80% band or the 50% band. Though if we find strength, we have these two open states that I believe it will close. 32.88 would be a big run in this name. So I'm gonna take a picture of this. I had to do more research about the valuation and just the financial situation of this company. But on the Fractal side, that's what I'm seeing with this compression expansion setup. Let's see. Okay, there's a picture.
Can we check some past behaviors on it? See how it
Yeah.
interacted when it was above pivot beforehand.
Yeah. So same wave in days of load. or what are you thinking? Would you like to see a certain
Yeah,
time
just
frame?
like just pull the zoom out a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look at the history of the Wave 150. You can see compression there, and then went back up, but then fell for L1 there. Let me turn bands off. 1 second. Okay. That open state's been open since 2021. But I'm really liking this. Anytime you see compression that long, it's getting ready for a sharp expansion. That's kind of what we saw with Intel. Intel compressed for a while, it went consolidated, went sideways, and all of a sudden started spiking. I mean, that CES event where Intel really took off, and the good news from that. That's kind of what I'm seeing with this one. Maybe something good's on the horizon for Coles. Go back in time. Yeah, is that what you're kind of looking for, Lem? Just go back in time like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you mean. See if there's any instances where we made this kind of compression before and then expanded higher. We kind of did. Let's see, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Here, let me draw this out. So there's some compression there, and then expansion higher, kind of like a check mark looking thing. That happened here. See how we compressed, and we kept compressing all the way down the purple vector, and then went higher briefly before falling, making L1. Now we have this compression here. That's most likely going to hit the purple vector from lysine, and then expand higher. It's at 32.88.
Another thing
That's
you
kind of what I'm
can,
seeing there.
yeah, another thing you can kind of look on with this is, uh, well, yeah, mainly that we can probably get below, we could get below purple vector and then not assign the L1 as well if we're just looking at that highest
Mhm.
aggregation.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit iffy on exactly where to take.
From what I've seen, I mean, the purple vector and the Wave 150, it's pretty strong support. I mean, I showed this
Yeah.
before. MRK, Merck. I mean, to break through the purple vector on a wave this high, it has to be pretty negative
Yeah.
price sentiment. So I would think it wicks just down to it. That's what I'm thinking for this. Go to 200. I don't think I pulled up to 200 yet. And now the purple vector is even lower because it's a higher wave. It kind of lags the 150. This is the 200. So same thing though, compressing, and then we have the open state at 28.17. But yeah, that's the ultimate question, like you said, Lem. It's kind of hard to find where this ultimate support's going to be because look at the difference of these purple vectors. 15.42 is the wave 200, but the wave 150 is at 16.41. So if we go long right at 16.41, it hits. Will price keep going down lower until it hits the 200, 15.42? That's the ultimate question. But over time, that vector revises higher, like we saw right here, starts staircasing higher. Let's see. Oh, what the? That's a glitch. I had that happen
Check the
before.
100.
The 100, yeah.
Yeah.
But real quick, there's an imprint band right here. You can find support right where my cursor's at. Maybe that's the purple vector in the 150 right here. Nah, it's just a little higher. Okay. You want to see the wave 100? So it broke below purple vector a little bit, but doesn't mean it's end the world, doesn't mean downside's inbound. Because we can see that purple vector is staircasing higher, now going sideways. So price just make its mind up here soon.
Something I'm noticing is that the imprint at 1735 seems like
Okay.
it's kind of prevalent on this wave already.
Yeah. That's why I like the imprint bands for this, for the higher waves. I'll turn back on. 1 second. Let's see. There's a lot there. So in this case, be watching the meet. Yeah. To answer that question, chat. Yeah, we'll be waiting to see where the support is first, instead of kind of catching the falling knife here. We gotta see where's the support. We're not gonna try to guess the timing on the options. Definitely not that. So 130 expiry. Yeah, I can't recommend any time frames yet. We gotta see where support is and how strong the support is. Where it's at and how strong it is. And we're not seeing that quite yet, but from what I'm seeing, we're getting close to it. All right. Is there any other ones I could show for this real quick? Let's see. Wave 20. Let's look at this. So this is honestly much lower than the average wave 20 cycle below pivot. Though it's never a good idea to go long when you see the standard deviation red like that and going higher. So perhaps we wait for standard deviation to flat out. If we look back in time, 0.7, once it gets to 0.7, it keeps going, then it immediately comes back down. Or 0.4, it goes sideways a lot. We can see that right here. Went sideways right here. 0.4 went sideways. Right here, once it hit 0.4 level standard deviation, it went sideways. So it looks like the bottom is near, but not yet. It's not too clear of what that level exactly is yet. But we're seeing signs that it's getting close to getting ready to make a bottom and then reverse higher. I'm thinking this 0.4, this level right now, this reading could look like this right here. Then reverse down, but we would see green go down. See how this was red, continue red, and then price kept going down lower and lower and lower. So we have to see some green there in a standard deviation. Let's put the percent bands on. We're at the 20 and 10%. So if we fall even further, there's a 2% band way down there, which is an outlier, but it could definitely start heading that direction. So that's what this wave is showing. Okay, here in the wave 10, there's an open state 15.76. Now, if you remember the wave 200, that purple vector was about 15.40, right? I think that's what it was. Or no, what was it? 15 point something? 15.76, the open state for wave 10. Go back to 200. Let's pull this up. 15.42, yep. Okay. So it's always a good thing to remember these numbers, the vector, the open states, because that wave 200 purple vector is 15.42. We have open state at 1576. So maybe that the support, the final support or last line of defense for this is around there, 15.76 to 15.42. So if price gets down to that purple vector in the wave 200, it's going to close the open state there.
Um, One thing I did know, if you're trying to look at that, so if you go and look at the Wave 100 daily, and you're gonna have to throw out a far out DTL like 5,000, 6,000,
Okay.
but there's this resistance imprint that's actually where we bottomed out for the day,
Okay.
right at 1735. Um, so my concern on this is whether or not we're just going to be making like ascending open states on there,
Hmm.
from the bottom and then just continue up higher.
Right.
Because we don't necessarily
Okay.
have to reach all the way back to vector. On the wave 100 daily, we're below vector but still above
Right.
pivot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Correct. We don't have to hit the 150 or the 200 purple vector. We don't have to fall down to those. We absolutely don't have to. The price can just stay higher, and then over time the purple vectors will rise higher. Because yeah, like you said, we're already below the purple vector in the wave 100. So, but this is good compression. I like seeing that. Let's see, wave 7. Let's go to this. Open state 17.08. It's almost there. There's an open state way down there at 14.44. We need the standard deviation to turn green. That's what we need. So strong positive day would bring the bottom closer. Let's look at the options analyzer. We're at L11, which was two occurrences, 14% odds at all for happening. And for L12, there's two occurrences of that. Odds of that at all are 80%. And then it goes way lower to 3%, beyond that to 13. So the odds tell us that continued lows, or more specifically, two more lows from current low, is very low probable. That's what this shows us. And you can look at the H1, 10 occurrences. Wave 3, lots of open states there. We're right below 10% band, 2% way down there. But to enter now would be kind of catching the fall knife. You guys see more signs on the bottom, more signs of strength for reversion higher, even though the odds tell us that we're getting close to making a bottom. It's kind of interesting. It goes down 3, 2, 1, and 3 occurrences there for L12. So let's say we make a L12 from L11. That would close the 16.99 open state. Or we can have a huge load at 15.64. Close that one. Let's put 1,000 days on. Okay. So L12, there's kind of like a spike there of occurrences for some reason. But beyond that, it's just all one. So maybe we make one more low on the wave 3 and find a bottom from there.
What I'm concerned about though is the fact that we're making a very large parabolic move. We're coming down from a very large wave. And we do have like Trump with everything pushing for like more coal and natural resource use. My concern is that we're going to dawdle around a bit first, just because of the fact that we made a very large wave down and then we made a parabolic wave up. Generally, we kind of see some chop between like average percent
Yeah.
band to average percent band after that.
It could definitely go sideways for a little bit. I mean, after Intel was compressed for a while, went sideways, and then expanded higher. That's always a possibility. But First glance at this name, I saw clear compression on those higher waves, wave 50 through 100. Here's a smaller time frame, wave 20 by 60 minute. Look at this L71. Let's see, was this stock was up today a little bit, right? Tiny bit, 0.11%. We know more interest rate cuts would help this name. It seems pretty fair, undervalued valuation wise. L71, yeah, it's a little more days, but we're definitely gonna get an H1. Yeah. So this thing's been really compressing for a bit. Or it's 2% band. And this is the hourly aggregations. So I'll keep moving to the next ones, but this is something that we'll have to look out for and see where the support is, right? It's still kind of a falling knife right now. Like for Intel, we didn't try catching the falling knife. We saw some support, and then we saw that the KOs gain started in the wave 7 or 10, whatever it was. And we just got in just in time for the expansion cycle. It expanded a lot higher. We found the calls at $1.74 that are 2 months out, and before the big downside from the earnings, the calls peaked at like $13 or $14 from $1.74. So big move, only a matter of about 2 weeks. So I'll go over another one. This is kind of like a low key one more. It's Progressive, PGR, insurance. They have earnings in 2 days. Let me see why I added this one. I think it's because it's starting an expansion cycle. You can see that here in the wave 7 daily. H1. Average move brings us past the open state, 215. And see these, we have these open states here. It's kind of like, we call them like stacked opens. There's many of them. Perhaps in 2 days after earnings, price rockets all the way up there. There's a potential for that. So that earnings are in 2 days, or it'll go down and make an L1 down there.
Try the wave 20.
Wave 20.
Wave 20.
Yeah. And then this shows something to be a little cautious about is that double bottom there.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
you
we
like
could hit
looking
a.
out for.
Yeah, I love looking out for them.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether or not we're gonna whack that 215 open state earnings happens and then
hmm
smack it right back down, keeping us below purple vector going for 185.
Yeah. Right. We know one thing, it's either expand and close this open states there, get to 8% band, or we could close that 185. Like I said, earnings in 2 days, so it can get to any of these areas pretty quick, right? After earnings, but the standard deviation, that red is going lower, so that's good for one to go long. You see, last time we had standard deviation go down like that, or kind of compress lower, we soon got green, creating a good buy area right there. When it goes from red to green, that was a great buy right there. So you guys see some green there if you want to go long. Oh, let me go to 30. 30 shows the same thing. Or actually shows the standard deviation still going higher. I'll keep clicking through a couple. There's wave 40, wave 50. Okay. And this stock's been kind of down for a while. Yeah, it's been compressing for a while. We have this green line here, these green dots meaning support. And it kind of made a double bottom right there. From this candle here to now. though the standard deviation is not going down yet. It's still red. It's still up. The percent band's on. We're at the 2%. So this is what I'm thinking. I was thinking for earnings. It's gonna be pretty big either way. If you want to play something for earnings, we'll either see a long awaited expansion to for H1 up to the 8% band, or if we break below 2% band, it's gonna get really explosive to the downside. So it can be pretty explosive either way, is what I'm thinking.
How's the premium relative to that right now?
I've not checked the premiums yet. If somebody wants to do that, would be great. Just post a picture of it. I'm not sure how much activity there is. I wouldn't guess too much, but it may even be monthly contracts. I'm not sure. I did not have time looking at that earlier, but I figured throw this up because there's earnings 2 days and saw some kind of potential setup there. With it
So
being this low.
we're
Go
at
ahead, AVP.
250. We're at 250 intervals, right? On
Mm-hmm.
PGR, we have so we do have weeklies, so that's good. So that means
Okay.
that it is active. And if you go plus minus two strikes, the
Mm-hmm.
in the money, out the money, you're
Right.
looking at decent activity.
Good.
Spreads are a little stupid though, but it could just be because it's aftermarket, right? I
Right.
don't know what they're actually going to be doing open market, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't like when you see a dollar wide at the money on a 250, right? For
Yeah, it's wide.
example, yeah, right now, even though it's after hour, if you look at MU, right, just give you an example, and we're at the money, right, 390,
Mhm.
it's 1285, 1310, right? So you're at
Right.
like 25 cents, and it's always exaggerated at after hours, right? Because the markets are
Mm-hmm.
closed. And now when you
Right.
look at GR, and you look at the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm looking at 273.50, right? And on the put
Mm-hmm.
side, I'm looking at 310, 490. So it tells me that this is one of those stocks, even though there's activity, you're not doing a
Mm-hmm.
market order, you're going to get screwed, right? You're going to need to
Gotcha.
set your limits to enter, and you're going to set your limits to exit, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can, if you want to be aggressive, smack the ask and smack the bid to exit, knowing that the
Mm-hmm.
pain you're going to incur, right? But you could do a market order, and it can just screw you. It really can. There's not a market order option that you
Okay.
would get.
How are we looking a month out? Like February 20th or
February
something like that.
20th. Yeah, if you go on the monthlies,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you still got 495.90, right? Five
Mm-hmm.
seventy six twenty. Don't get me wrong, it can tighten up. It can tighten up.
Right.
You're not going to see it tighten up in the first 15 minutes of the
Mm-hmm.
day. There's always those wide orders. In fact, if you wanted to buy this, I would lowball it in the first 15 minutes and hope some idiot hits market order, and you're just sitting
Yeah.
there offering liquidity, right? And then, if not, you just start to adjust your order to something a little bit more realistic, right? And when I mean lowballing it, if you're going to buy, let's say the 207 call in February, instead of the 590, you might put you know 475 when it's 490, right, on the bid,
Mm-hmm.
like that. You just get a little bit better on a swing. It opens up
Mm-hmm.
and it fills you.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it's a little disappointing to see that spread being that wide. It's kind of like quicksand. You kind of, if you buy it wrong, it could really hurt you. You know.
I promise you won't know till tomorrow morning or during
Yeah.
hours.
We'll have to
Sometimes
look at it again.
just in the evening it's like that. But if it's like that,
Mhm.
I'd rather you be prepared for it than if it's tight.
Yeah. Right. Right. So, all right. Well, yeah, good enough. Let's see. There's a picture of the February 20th. Yeah, not a lot of open interest. Maybe just a couple hundred. Uh, hmm. All right. Well, for the sake of the time we have left, I'll go to the next one. There was RSG had a potential setup, I believe. I found earlier. This is Republic, like the trash dumpsters, kind of like waste management, right? So, yeah, look at the wave 50 here. Look at that K assignment. Just assigned, right? Today. I know, was it last week? Yeah, maybe it was last week. Friday. But still, the H2. From what I'm looking at right here, this expansion cycle is just getting started. You see the average move brings us right there to the top of that blue area. There's two open states there. But anytime I see the standard deviation being that low, and then we see a K, and then the green starts going higher and tries to leave that golden area, that's where it gets really explosive. We get a squeeze higher. And that'd be the strategy to get to jump into the squeeze higher and play long. If someone could check the options on RSG, that'd be great. I have not checked that option sheet on this one either. But let's keep clicking through some time frames. Yeah, like wave 40, same thing. Looks kind of similar to this Pfizer play I had with Rogue Moose a couple months ago, where the standard deviation was at the very bottom of the golden zone. We got K, and then the green standard deviation left the golden zone, and price spiked up immediately after.
Your
Uh,
options
Go
on
ahead.
RSP, $10 increments monthlies. So that tells you a few things. If your stock is in the 200s, it should be trading in 250 intervals or maybe five, right? If you're trading in 10 intervals, that means that you're going to find that they're trying to concentrate the volume, right? The open interest. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it, 210 has got like 154, 220's got 800, 230's got 500.
Okay.
Still a wide spread, $4 to 570, right? On the
Yeah.
put side, 195 to 270. So, and it's only monthly, so that's your
Only
options.
monthlies. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can type in a option on the fractal chart. It may not be RSG since it's not that liquid. It'd look funny, but I can show you guys the options on the fractal too. I can definitely do that. But I'll still click through this one since it was interesting. I'll do that real quick. Well, that's kind of unfortunate. It's only monthlies. This looks like it's already taken off. But this is still good to look at, You gotta remember what you see in other tickers, and it'll kick in when you see a certain one that looks like the last one you looked at. It's all what it's about. So this open states there. Yeah, this K is pretty strong. This stock's been beaten down for a while. Now it's finally expanding higher. Look at the wave 100. Yeah, the wave 100 shows just getting started. Just trying to make an H1. Then the 150. Going for a pearl vector. If you look there, this is compression expansion right here. Oh, 1 second. Try to draw this line. Chart's kind of freezing up. Okay. Yeah, see how that's compression there? And then the compression stops. See those green candles? It found support. And now we're expanding higher. So that's what a great compression expansion cycle looks like right there. And that's my strategy. That's what I look for in trading, especially swing trading. You can see this in intraday stuff too. God dang this. 1 second, this cursor's not working. But yeah, a few more minutes left until that Twitter X Spaces session. So I have about two more things I can share. RGR is Ruger. I'm buying shares in this week. I think tomorrow. It's quicker my fund as long as my funds are ready. I'm buying shares of this, and there's many reasons why, both fractal wise and because what's happening in the real world. But let's click on the wave 80. See that standard deviation being that extreme at 7.3. That suggests that it can't get much more worse than that, and specifically for downside since that's red. So yeah, and price is going for that H1. It has been trying for a little bit, but it's finally gonna get that soon. And then there's an open state way up there at 52.59. Let's see. Okay, so there's a few reasons why I'm buying the stock. It's obviously a gun and ammunition stock regarding all the political unrest in the country. That's what I'm seeing. Believe things are just getting started, and that we see more and more people are becoming first time gun owners. So that boosts the earnings for this type of company. And then there's a few more things. The Supreme Court is expected to take off some restrictions that were set up for the last administration regarding guns and gun purchasing. So that'll continue to help this company and the stock with earnings. And I
So
saw the standard
can I
deviation
play
is that extreme.
can I
Yeah,
play
go
the
ahead.
devil's advocate? I would play it with options. I'm not sure you
Okay.
want to consider buying the stock yet. Yeah, I'll give you a couple of reasons why, okay? Fractal wise, you can play what we always play, right? Uh, let's go chase the vector, things of that extent, and we can make money that way. Fundamentally, as a company, their revenue, earnings per share, has gone down dramatic,
Yeah.
dramatic,
Yep.
dramatically since oh god, since
For a while.
2021.
Right.
878, 496, 271, a dollar
Mm-hmm.
77, and now it looks like what are they? Just about they're negative right now. So they're going to have to make at least 70 cents in Q4 reportings just to break
Mm-hmm.
even because they have basically a 49-cent loss in the first three
Mm-hmm.
quarters, right? 46 cents profit, 105 loss, and then 10 cents profit in Q3, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then what I'm also seeing is their free cash flow has gone down tremendously, as well as their just cash flow. Their
Mm-hmm.
dividend isn't anything significant. Well, no, no. Let me rephrase that. Their dividend went down from 351 down to 70 cents. So, A, they're not maintaining their dividend, even though they've got cash flow to maintain it, they're not maintaining it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather play it with options until I
Okay.
could see the financials get better. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
what you can do with this is you can buy a 90 delta uh, leap on this, and yeah, you're paying off you're gonna lose probably like $2, right? Or a dollar
Mm-hmm.
50, something like that, for the time that you're paying. But you sit on it for 2 3 months, okay? And you're getting 90 cents on the dollar on any positive move, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, you're not laying out as much cash, and you can cut and burn with less of a loss. If you like it because the fundamentals have changed, right? You start to see higher cash flow, higher EPS. You can just buy the shares, right? You just convert it, right? Exercise it, or sometimes I'll just
Yeah.
sell it and buy it at the same time. And that $2 you pay, or 250 or $1.50, that's just money you're paying just to feel a little safer in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Okay. No, yeah, yeah. I respect that opinion with the options approach. This recording will be done in 3 minutes, guys, but I'll continue to talk about this for a minute. But anytime I bought shares on anything with a standard deviation being this elevated, this extreme for that long, I've always done well. I plan to hold this until it hits the targets. I'm expecting it to hit like 52.59. I mean, when there's things that happen in the physical world in this country that like the civil unrest, these things really spike. They spike quick. It's kind of short lived. So I'd hold shares for, maybe months or whatever, but not like years down the road kind of thing. So so yeah, I definitely hold shares in this until the standard deviation goes back lower. And that's the play with that. But you can definitely approach this with the options too, like you said. This black line right here would be like my entry somewhere in there. Would be ideal. And then target open stay up here, 52.59, which is a big run, but these stocks can pull this off. Like not just
Here's
RGR,
the,
but SWBI, Smith and Wesson. Go ahead.
here's the thing I find really odd. And I
Mhm.
take it back now that I look at it, I wouldn't play options on it. You only have an option chain up to July of 2026. You
Hmm.
don't have links on this, right? So
Interesting.
that
Yeah.
it's that I rarely see, right? You can pick crappy stocks and you can get, leaps for 2 years
Hmm.
out, right?
Yeah.
It's odd that that's the case.
Stops at July. Yeah. Right. But from what I'm seeing and hearing the news and from people online, I mean, I'm seeing there's more first-time gun owners than in a while, right?